Good morning, everyone, and Chag Sameach. The whole world and the Jewish people are talking about the breaking news that, God willing, during this holiday of Sukkot, on Monday, the remaining hostages will return, which would mean that they would return just in time for the second Hebrew anniversary of the tragedy of October 7th, Simchat Torah. The holiday of Sukkot is the holiday of Jewish unity, and that's why it's the holiday of joy. The Talmud says that the entire Jewish people can sit in one sukkah. You see, there's no other mitzvah that you could use one physical item to perform the mitzvah simultaneously with the entire Jewish nation. If you have a lulav and etrog, you could pass it around from one Jew to the next, and everyone can do it, but not at the same time. If you have one pair of tefillin or one Shabbos candle, only one person can use it. But when it comes to a sukkah, the Talmud says if we have a sukkah big enough and we can gather the entire Jewish nation together, the entire Jewish people could sit in the same sukkah at the same time, which therefore represents the idea that sukkah unifies the entire Jewish people. And I can't think of something that is more unifying than bringing home the remaining hostages. We are finally, the Jewish people will be together once again. Physically, these hostages who are alive will be sitting with their families in the sukkah, God willing. But also emotionally and spiritually, the entire Jewish people can come together now finally as one Jewish nation, unified, no longer with torn hearts and torn apart from one another through the pain and the suffering and the tragedy of October 7th, but to be able to reunite once again with one big heart. And this is the joy, the unprecedented joy that we are all anticipating that will, God willing, occur within the next few days. When I was in Israel 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, in February of 2024, we went to visit many of the hostages that were released. And I remember the first one I went to, which was the home of a young girl by the name of Karina Ariev. And we sat with her and her sister and her parents in her apartment, and we came to bring her love and support from our community. And her father, who is an engineer by trade, told me that he hasn't worked since October 7th. He said, I can't focus on my work. All I do day and night is think and work for the release of my daughter. And I realized at that point what it means for a parent to lose a child on October 7th, to worry about a child for a year and a half. Where is my child? Are they alive? Are they safe? Are they eating? Are they sleeping? Are they being tortured? And the joy of a parent, which is unimaginable, to see their child come back home alive. The joy of the Jewish people is boundless at this point. But imagine the families that will finally be able to kiss and embrace their children once again. This is an unfathomable joy. Their lives stopped for the past 2 years. Yes, we thought about them, we prayed for them, but we went on with their lives. We worked, we did other things. They did nothing but think about their children. And this should remind us about the love that every parent has for every child, and how much we should cherish and celebrate the love of our family and the blessing to be able to be with them, and as a Jewish nation to be united under the stars of the Sukkah, under God's divine providence and protection. When I was just in Israel a month ago, when we went for multiple celebrations, I had lunch one day with a woman by the name of Talia Friedman. Talia Friedman is a chef, a renowned chef in Israel. We met with her to talk about her doing something for our community. And over lunch, she told me that she has a son, Benny, who's 22 years old. And the night of Simchat Torah, her son tells her that he's going tonight with his friends to the Nova Music Festival. And she had prepared a big luncheon the next day in honor of Simchat Torah, for a big luncheon in honor of the holiday, and she had invited her parents and her in-laws and her entire family to come celebrate. And so she said to her son, how could you leave? The family's having a big holiday lunch tomorrow. You have to be with the family. And he said, I know, but my friends are going. I really want to go to the Nova Festival. And she said, as a mother, she insisted, and she said, you cannot go. You must be with the family to celebrate the holiday luncheon. And although they weren't religious, but they celebrated Simchat Torah. And she said, my son was very upset at me. He wasn't talking to me. But I insisted as a mother, he can't leave the family on the holiday. He said, okay, Mom, I'm going to go out. It was Friday night, October 6th. I'm going to go with my friends, and we'll have a beer, we'll have a drink, and then I'll come home. I'll listen to what you're telling me. He went out with his friends. Who were his two best friends? Anar Shapiro and Hirsch Goldberg. They sat in the bar in Jerusalem till 2 in the morning. And then Anar and Hirsch got into the car to head down to the Nova Music Festival. He went home to listen to his mother and stay home for the holiday. Tragically, these two righteous individuals, Hirsch and Anar, we know their stories, their courage, their sacrifice, but tragically they died. And he survived because he listened to his mother. And she started to clutch her shoulders together. She told me the story, and she said, I get chills telling you the story, how close I was, God forbid, to losing my child. Let us celebrate this holiday with greater joy, greater unity, greater love than ever before, and thank God for the return, finally, after 2 years, of the remaining hostages. May we see it and celebrate it with our own eyes. Have a wonderful Chag.